Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Charlton Chronicles. We've got some new faces today. Emma's going to be away for today and Sunday. She's got something that's popped up, so I will be taking the controls. Hopefully that's all right with everybody. I am joined today by a new member of the Chronicles team and a very good friend of mine, and maybe the nicest man in the Charlton Athletic fan base, which is Paul Bowen. We're joined by Kieran again, and
Hello.
We're joined by Mr. Paul Davenport, as always.
It's a great name that after the Paul, not the Davenport. So, yeah.
Double Paul. You have to forgive us.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
A little confused throughout the show. So, how are you guys doing this evening? Aside from the result,
Good. To be fair, it's been a pretty chill day. Just college, and then we come home to talk about football. So can't complain.
Nice.
He goes to college. That's got me, really happy already.
Can't be all
45 years ago, whatever. Absolutely, no. 40 odd years ago, never mind. It's gone by in the blink of an eye. I warn you. So.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we do have to spend however many minutes discussing that. I'm going to call it absolutely putrid performance at the Hawthorns last night. If anyone wants to disagree with me, you're welcome to. I'm going to put my cards out on the table. That was absolutely dreadful. And to be honest with you, we are as lucky to come out of that game with a point as Leicester were to come out of the win when they beat us at the Valley. We were that bad. If Josh Madger could finish, that game would have been over after 50 minutes. But thankfully, hitting a barn door with a banjo. He didn't even bring the banjo with him. The finishing was that bad from West Brom. We've sacked another manager, everybody. So well done to Charlton. Sacked number 3. We continue our impressive streak of sacking people. But I'll come to you, Paul Bowen, first. Firstly, I would like to introduce yourself to the audience for the first time, but I'll ask you, what did you make of that performance? Do you have as strong an opinion as I do?
Well, I knew I was coming on here today, and then I was like, what I'm going to talk about is we did nothing in the first half, like absolutely nothing. Like, the only thing that happened is we conceded a goal. I'm pleased we clawed it back, but yeah, it was just so hard to remember anything from the first half at all. But yeah, then we made some changes. We looked a bit better in the second half, but still not good enough to win the match. And then, I suppose we managed to grab the point that we needed. And that was about it, really.
I mean, it really is a difficult game to talk at length about, because it really felt as if, other than talking about West Brom absolutely battering us, but even though they battered us, they didn't create that much sort of in terms of clear-cut opportunities. It wasn't like we were sliced open.
No.
But I mean, the 4-hour coach drive on the way in with all the traffic and everything else, you got caught in the same thing. The team seemed to be unstuck on the way in. Kind of decide to stretch your legs as to watch us put in that diabolical sort of showing. Kieran,
hello.
Where I'm trying to find a place to begin.
There's literally nothing to say.
Shall we talk about? Let's talk about I'll talk about the goal. I'm going to give Davenport our goal just for a moment. I'm going to give you the goal we conceded. Which was, it's a nasty, nasty corner, right? If he drops that, and he can't come for that, right? He's dropped it, and the one zone he can't come from. Ramsey's lost his bearings about which zone he's supposed to be in. We can discuss if people want zonal versus man-to-man marking. But to be honest with you, I think Ramsey just loses his bearings a bit, and he knocks it in at the back post. I mean, it's a great delivery, a bad bit of marking, and a simple finish, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's just not much to say. Like, it was just such a boring game. There was only a handful of opportunities for either team, and so I think you have these moments that things go right and things go wrong, and at the end of the day, I don't think I don't think anyone's really to fault. There's not much to pick out about it. In all honesty, there's not much I picked up on and I went, "That's absolutely shocking," or "That's absolutely brilliant." It's just so lackluster, and it's so Charlton to just be boring, isn't it? It's just so us to go. Not much happened. It's not enjoyable football. Either way.
I mean, like, on the specific, it's not even like a goal where you can get like really raging angry about. It's just, it happens in football, losing your bearings a bit. It's a nasty, nasty delivery. Fair play to the lad. It's a good header. But you're just sort of sat there and you're going like, and I say this all the time. One of our biggest problems is that because we don't score goals, every goal we can see gets micro-analysed to death. And so you look at that, the first thing people are thinking is, oh, should the keeper come? Should this? It's like, no. All it genuinely is someone has lost their man on a corner. But to us, that is complete and utterly the end of the world, right? For most
It
people,
happens in
that's
football.
happened.
It
Happens
just
in
happens.
football. But because we don't score, right, it becomes this microanalyzed piece, doesn't it? I mean, imagine being a member of that back five where it's like you can see 2 goals, you gone.
Exactly. And you look at it like, even from just a purely statistical point of view, we've conceded the same amount of goals as West Brom, I'm pretty sure, this season. No, we've scored as many goals as West Brom, but we've just conceded less. That's the only difference in the table as for goals for and against, and so you look at it and you go, neither team's scoring many goals. We're not conceding many goals, which is the nice thing. Like, other than Southampton and a couple bad games, I don't really think we've been battered this season.
Southampton, Millwall, Stoke are the 3, aren't they?
Yeah,
the 3.
Yeah. We've had a few really bad games, and obviously Scunwall was poor, and Southampton was just awful. Just sat there at the Valley, like, what am I watching? This is terrible. And Hull was, again, a really regrettable performance, but we don't get battered. We're not having this every week where we are just like, oh, they've scored 2, they've scored 3, they've scored 4. It's rare. And so I think to concede a goal like that, it just happens in football. Everyone concedes goals, or no one would score. It just happens sometimes.
Paul, can I talk to you about the one moment of quality we had? Because I just talked about Kane Ramsey losing his man. If you're going to make a mistake that leads to a goal, and I don't know if it was a huge mistake, it happens, right?
Yeah.
Make up for it with a ball like that. What an absolute pearl of a ball through. Lovely
Very
touch from
tasty.
Dykes and a finish.
Yeah,
but I'd like to give
inviting.
special credit to our man Jayden Fevrier with an Olympic-worthy dive to get his face out of the way of that football. But that was actually a very lovely goal.
It was.
Yeah, it was a good moment.
How bad we were.
It was almost what the phrase is, pearl amongst swine, because it was, as you've all said. There was nothing really to that game almost worthy of talking about. And as you know, Callum, I'm not one of life's sophisticates when it comes to tactical analysis and whatever. But some games I think, well, does that really matter? My dearth of knowledge doesn't sort of find me out because there's nothing really to talk about. But that was the one sort of standout moment. And as you say, it was a ball waiting to be smacked in the back of the net, which was fantastic. We just to sort of very briefly get back, as you know, the story broke, didn't it, about the lads having to walk 10 minutes to the ground, I think. And it kind of
was more entertaining than the football to chat about the excuse.
It was, but it's quite appropriate, really, because let's face it, that game was mostly a plod. See what I did there, anyway. Sorry, moving on. Indeed, that's right. That's about my limit these days, of course, as you know.
50s
but no, I mean, indeed. Thanks, but yeah, moving on. Who invited him on? No, actually, as I say, the game. I mean, it was ironic, wasn't it? I know Ramsey's sort of passing was coming, wasn't it? But it's ironic that he got sacked on the back of that because they were the better team. But as you say, they couldn't hit the proverbial barn door with the proverbial banjo, or certainly Josh Madger couldn't, and that was really their undoing, wasn't it? So, but yeah, as I say, as a game, again, it was. I'm not sure if it quite comes under the umbrella of a bad day at the office, but it could have been. And, then the disquiet comes, well, how many bad days at the office are we going to get? We can't afford to have many more before the end of the season. I mean, we've got, 12, 13 games, whatever is left. With these,
11,
we need to get Is it? Yeah. So one could argue, okay, that there's less opportunities then to mess up. But we need to sort of secure things, because they deserve to win, I think, on the balance of play.
Oh, absolutely.
And so we need to put that one to bed. But no, that the goal was a rare moment of quality. And as you said, Kane very much redeemed his mistake. But again, as you all said, I mean, these things happen at corners. You kind of lose your man. I mean, I think I said in the comments in your pod earlier on today that I still think that where guys have been brought up to take your man, mark a man. I mean, zonal marking is not a new concept now, but still, I think it's when people have been used to being sort of, it's drilled into them. Man marking has been drilled into them. I still think the zonal marking concept is still a little bit alien to some of them, but maybe I'm being incredibly simplistic
I think it's just high risk, high reward, right? Because if you get it right with zonal, you've got someone covering every quadrant of the box, including allow you to get to the out man, right? At the ball. The issue is that it's higher risk, because if someone turns off in the zone, it's an entire square of space.
Absolutely.
The thing is, everybody does zonal now, because the risk is almost the risk is actually pretty minimal in terms of like getting a ball like that in is actually reasonably low. And actually, as Chris has put in the comments here, pretty sure Lloyd's had been on the pitch, that goal would have been presented. Yeah, because probably he gets it in the middle. It was a particularly filthy corner, though. That thing was gnarly. That was moving. It went out and came back in. But yeah, I mean, that's why they do it. But I don't think you're wrong. I do understand when people say, mark your man, mark your man. But I think everybody does the zonal thing now.
Not to show my age. My late 1980s Hackney Marshes clogging is obviously not really much help in this situation, but I was always getting screamed at for losing my man. But then I was always rather slow, even at 25.
I think it's one of those things where people now do those sort of cross screens, and if you see it, there are three people sort of screening players out of the way. I think if you observe man to man, the argument is that they can just cross screen you out of the way. Ironically, if Ramsey, I think, had been paying attention in the spot that he was in, he probably actually, the zonal would have stopped them being able to do it. But they did the screens anyway, and I'm to go through it. Look, I'm getting into my own thing where I'm going to start microanalyzing a goal that I shouldn't have to microanalyze. Paul, let me ask you, what was more pleasant, the 4 hours on the coach, or watching us plod along trying to create anything in that game of football?
Well,
close.
Yeah, it's hard to decide. But yeah, especially the first 45 minutes, because as I said before, we did absolutely nothing, and neither did West Brom. Otherwise, we would have been 2-3-0 down. So yeah.
It's such a hard game. It's such a hard game to analyze. I mean, I can ask you a more serious question. We can ask you about did one of the things Nathan Jones brought up, and we'll come to the excuse in a minute, because I think it's quite funny. But the was that he said that we looked tired. The Southampton game took a lot out of us. And actually, Paul B, I think that actually probably is about right. I think when you're off the ball that much in a game against a team that's passing the ball around you all the time, I can actually understand why we may have looked a bit leggy. The 2 away games in a row again, I think, is actually not a terrible sort of excuse. I don't even think he was making an excuse. I think he was just trying to explain why we may have looked a bit flat. But do you think those are reasonable sort of things for him to say?
Yeah, so with the Southampton match, everyone says you use more energy off the ball than you do on the ball because you're chasing the game. And Southampton, what was it, 75% possession or thereabouts by the end of the match. And we managed to get the draw, managed to do enough defending, pressing. But I'll come to the coach excuse. So that can play an effect, because if you are on a coach for a long period of time, I don't know how long they were on the coach for. I've heard that they normally get trained to the nearest station and then get picked up, and then so if they're only supposed to be on the coach from the Hawthorns, that's not really an excuse. But if they've been on the coach all the way from Sparrows Lane up to the Hawthorns, then you can feel a bit stiff. And if you're half an hour late, that's probably the time when players might want to go to the toilet and do a number 2, because some players do. They might want to walk around the pitch, read their programs, stretch your legs, have a chat amongst each other, take selfies. So yeah, if they're half an hour late, then they're straight into the warm-up. So they're not really loosening themselves up. So it can have an effect. But I think it's probably more to do with the Southampton match, really.
Kieran, I mean,
I
it was
did have
such a-
something to say.
Is about the excuse, because in the interview
Yeah.
he was very, very weird about it. He was like, so they went, "Is it traffic?" And he went, well, the coach breakdown. He went, "No," and then he went, "Was there traffic?" And he went, "Not really." And then he was like, "But it won't happen again." And it's like,
Oops.
what was it? Did somebody fall out
Exactly.
to the bus driver? You know?
Yeah, it's
What's
a really
happened
weird
here?
excuse. I think it's just embarrassment on his part. I just don't think he knew what to say. I think he was just kind of like, things gone wrong. But then you just have that transparency. I think if I was the manager, I'd just go, "Look, bus broke down. We had to walk. It was a bit shit. It just wasn't our day, you know." But as for like tiredness and stretching, I just think you need to be more on it. I just think from a professional practice standpoint, you know, your football players probably in a hotel near St Mary's, I would imagine. You know, you go home, you stretch, you do your recovery, you sleep, and you catch up. And then also from like the staff and the managerial perspective, you rest your players, you rotate your players. If your players are complaining they're tired, you rotate them. You play different guys, and you make training easier, and you encourage recovery. And I think I would struggle to go from a Saturday to a Tuesday night, but I don't think a professional player should. I don't think they should struggle on the bus. It's not like those buses are particularly cramped. They're huge coaches. You can get up, have a stretch. Just get up, have a stretch, you know, and actually stretch, even if it's just like keeping your legs warm and moving slightly, you know, just be a professional about it. Tiredness is a thing. It's very real. Rotate your squad then. You feel stiff? Just stretch. Like, you know, come on. You can't give us excuses forever. You can't just blame it all on like the timing of the matches and the way we were playing. I think.
I think, to be 100% fair, I think the specific of it was that we were off the ball so much. I think the expectation today is, if you look at the way West Brom play, we're supposed to be on the ball. So I think we thought, okay, we'll be on the ball. We'll have control of it, rather than being passed around. It is absolutely knackering to have the ball passed around you for 96 odd minutes, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I think, you know, may I sit there and go,
72 hours sounds a long time, doesn't it? And you're
it's
right.
really
Kieran,
not by the time you travel
it's
back
not,
home.
But
Yeah.
particularly when they give maximum effort. For, as Paul said, Southampton have got 78% possession. They were doing a lot. They were getting through a lot of work. Okay, they're young guys, whatever, but still, they're getting towards the end of a long, hard season. So it all sort of accumulates. But I mean, Paul touched on a good point, which is obviously routines. You know, they're used to a certain routine. You know, whether it's their sort of ablutions, habits, or whatever, or whether it's on listening to a podcast. You know, the Chronicles, for example, hopefully, or whatever.
Do you reckon Luke Berry's out there listening to me?
Absolutely.
Can you imagine Tyrese Campbell listening to listening to the conversation on this podcast?
He would hate this. He would hate all of us.
No, he'll be Snapchatting you after this, I tell you, Kieran, whatever. But yeah, but as I say, but it's valid because you're used to a certain routine. And I've got my own theory. I think that there was probably an element of misplanning, if that's a phrase. Things weren't planned properly, I think, and the fact that it's not going to happen again. Exactly. So whoever that was from within the club, or within
was it? Did we leave late? I mean, they're getting stuck in rush hour traffic, and it's that sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's something like that, really. I think, and the fact that he shut it down shows, you know, we don't have to read too far between the lines, really. But as I say, so I think there was
screw up. I think is the
basically, but all this stuff. I mean, they're sort of a finely tuned, you know, sort of organisation and routine, basically, for every game. So when that's out of whack, you know, you might say, "Oh, they had to walk 10 minutes," you know, whatever, doing the minute of the people bit. inadvertently or not. But the fact is that it is different. I mean, so yeah, I can't imagine they came all the way from Sparrows Lane. Well, I hope they didn't, because even though it's a nice big coach and they've got lots of legroom, it's just
It's
interminable,
tiring.
really.
It's tiring.
Exactly.
And I understand it from the boys' perspectives, but
There'll be
yeah.
there will be those like you that basically suggest, so well, come on, professionals, let's not cry about it. They should be getting on with it. But I think there is some sort of mitigation. But as I say, people look at the result. That's all that counts. We got the result. It wasn't very pretty at all. But we won't use that as an excuse, basically. So yeah, I think there's pros and cons, isn't there? So that's what we do on here. We give different views. So.
Exactly. We got to explore all viewpoints.
Paul, I don't know. I don't know if anyone listen to other podcasts. I will not sort of share. But there was a very, very funny Nathan thing where he started off by saying, "Yeah, the referee wasn't too bad," and then realised, actually, wait a minute, he was crap, and sort of talked himself into going, "Wait a minute, we didn't get anything off him." And started.
Well,
He was not very good. He was not very.
I don't want to get us into trouble with that particular referee. I've got no confidence in, but then he's one of a long list, so I don't want to sound like I'm sour.
League One, didn't he? I'm sure
he did, absolutely. It's just not. He absolutely is. So it's just invariably he's not enough to play a lot of the time. So as I say, it just wasn't good. But again, we don't want to use that as an excuse. But
I just like point out that actually it was one that's quite
absolutely funny. No. I know you were. It's just, but it is depressing that every single week most weeks we talk about shite officiating. I would never be a ref, as I've said. I probably didn't say. I meant to say in one of our previous pods that I was a referee for a couple of games, and people I thought were friends were threatening to do all sorts of things we didn't implement on me, and for my general uselessness and apparent bias. So they have I would never be a ref, clearly, in any sort of full-time capacity. But some of them just don't help themselves, really. It's like one of those, what does it count? I don't know, whichever one it is. Say what you see, almost.
Yeah.
And react on it, and you sort of think, well, that blatant that blatant goal kick right in front of us, and it's like, how could you not see that? And it's only a small thing, but it could, nothing came of that particular corner. But it's those sort of things.
They scored from a corner ultimately as well.
Indeed, yeah. So it's that sort of thing. It's like they don't help themselves, but equally they have my sympathy. But he was crap. So anyway, move on.
Paul, maybe the biggest thing that's actually going to come out of this game, and actually that's quite important before we try, I guess, to trudge through a couple of player performances, crikey, is Lloyd Jones going down injured in the first half. That didn't look particularly good. So Tom Jackson just come in and said Norwich are 1-0. We are 18th now. We've been 18th for what feels like 6 months. At this point, I feel as if 18th is our new natural home. And to be honest with you, we finished 18th end of the season. I will be the happiest man alive. Yeah. Hello, 18th. You are the new first, in my opinion. As long as that's not 22, 23, and it won't be 24. As long as it's not 22 or 23, 18, happy days for me. But and also Norwich are playing Sheffield Wednesday, so of course they're 1-0 up. But Lloyd Jones, that's I know Nathan was making the jokes about it was always before Wrexham. That didn't look particularly good, did it?
No, it's the ankle he's been complaining about for several weeks now. Well, I think probably several months. And he went in for a tackle. He looked uncomfortable after that. Then he went down went down a third time, and that's when he got subbed off. And it is a worry. I do think without Lloyd Jones, how is our defence gonna? Because we set up to keep clean sheets. Basically, we score 1 or 2 goals. So if we're not keeping clean sheets, we're not going to win. And if we concede 2, we pretty much lost the match. But I felt that Collins came on, and again he came in and he looked like he wasn't ready to play. And then after about 10, 20 minutes, he settled in, looked a lot better. I looked at his stats afterwards. He made 12 defensive, what do they call it?
Contributions.
Yeah, that's it. Which was equal with what Kane Ramsey did for the match. So yeah, he was busy, and he gets in the way of the ball as well. He's not scared to get hit by the ball. but Wrexham are on a really good form. So if we haven't got Lloyd Jones for Saturday,
There's no Cody as well.
then
So talk about organisation, crikey.
yeah,
That's completely out of the window.
So-
Kieran, we're gonna let's try and do this a bit rapid fire because no one wants to
Okay,
dwell on any
okay.
of these player performances
No.
for very long, right? Thomas Kaminski, 6 out of 10, did nothing wrong, didn't really have too much to do.
Yeah,
That sound fair?
yeah, I'd agree.
Quick.
Not
Okay,
too
Paul,
much went on.
rapid fire. They didn't have much to do. Paul Davenport, rapid fire. Mari Bell, actually, I thought at times didn't look great at left back when we went to the 4 in the second half, but didn't do much wrong, did he? Really?
Yeah, I think he got into scoring
5 out of
position
10.
once. Yeah, but no, absolutely. But as I say, not up to his usual standard. But I think again, he's had a hard game on Saturday. So yeah, I'll give him a pass on that one.
Yeah, I
Certainly
think
not
he's one of
bad.
those
Not
pla-
bad.
He's one of those players that
Certainly
probably
not bad.
Saturday, Tuesday is probably quite difficult for him as well in terms of
Yes,
needing
absolutely.
to look after himself and all the rest of it.
But 6 out of 10 with his eyes shut, basically, because that's just a very basic minimum for Kane.
Just
So.
what he is.
Yeah.
What he is, Paul, the 2 wing backs, Luke Chambers looked absolutely knackered before the game even kicked off. And Harry Clark got himself turned inside and outside. Was it by Johnston, who turns a lot of players inside and outside and then doesn't really put a great ball in except for their goal. They were not particularly great, were they, the two wing backs?
no, it's but I wouldn't hold that performance against him because they've both been brilliant. So the whole team was a bit unmemorable performances from them both, like the rest of the team, really.
Again, they're 2 players, aren't they? Sorry to interrupt again.
No, go for it.
Callum, but they're 2 players again, as we know, that have not played much football before they came to us.
Absolutely.
So again, it's that Saturday Tuesday thing, isn't it? That you just touched on. So I think again, Luke, that's still part of growing. He's still 19 or 20 or whatever. It's all part of the growing pains that he's going to go through. Basically, there's no doubt about his talent, and his ability. It's just that sort of physical. Sort of day to day, isn't it? Really, not just training, but obviously those hard games, 2 or even 3 hard games a week, really, which he's simply not, his body's not used to. But he's getting used to it as things go on. Like same with Harry when he's older and obviously got more experience. But again, he hasn't played much before he came to us. So again, they're just getting into it, and they've had some really hard games since they've come in, and they're starting to take a little bit of a toll. But they're allowed that sort of mediocre performance, really, and they'll be both be the stronger for it.
Kieran Ramsey, as I say, made the mistake, made up for it with that gorgeous pass. Actually, outside of that, I thought it was okay defensively. Anything strong to say on Kane?
I think it was a solid performance. Probably the best performance. Lyndon Dykes carried himself well, got into a good position for that
probably
pass.
give it to Dykesy, probably.
Yeah, I'd say it's between those 2, but Kane Ramsey was pretty solid. Not much to fault, really. And the assist was lovely. So good performance overall.
Paul, can I just give you the whole midfield? And I said it on my own pod. We're bad. They need to at least buy 2 midfielders in the summer. At least 2. And they're going to have to be expensive ones, I think. I don't know if you feel the same way I do. Teams have clocked on to now. We play the ball to Cody to play the ball out wide, so everyone doubles him. And so that means you have to play through Doc.
Absolutely.
And you can't play through Doc. You just cannot play on the ground through Doc. He has many good qualities. That's the one thing he can't do.
Yeah, well, I said I think on your comments in your pod that basically, teams, the analysis is finite now. They all see the tape. They all know what players can and can't do. Obviously, when they're unknown quantities, players very soon become known quantities. People knew Cody as a central defender primarily. That's where he got his England caps from. We put him in centre mid, defensive midfielder. It was a revelation. We said it on the pod more than once. And first 2-3 games against Leicester, he was great. But people see that, and now they sort of, as you say, they key in on him. He was a vital part of the distribution from the midfield. They nullify it, and look what happens. So yeah, absolutely, they've cottoned on. And I think Sonny was again doing sort of Sonny things, but again, he was getting caught in possession. There was once where we got caught, I think, tackle at the edge of their box, and in transition, they very nearly scored. And it's that sort of thing where he gives us a lot in terms of energy and of course his goals. He's busted his XG in that regard. But he just getting caught in possession, not playing sort of even the simple pass, let alone a killer pass, and it's getting caught out really. So I think he needs to really sort of look at that part of his game. And yeah, Doc, as you say, Doc. I think at best he's kind of inconsistent. There are certain games where he can play, at his best, and he shows himself in his best light. Southampton was one of those cases where he's sort of doing the spoiler, and things are very constricted, weren't they? Basically, he had a very, as long as Doc hasn't got many yards to run into, if you like, then he's fine. But once he's got to cover loads of ground, if Connor's not able to cover it, you're looking at Doc, and it's just not his game. Basically, he likes to work in a nice little pocket, a nice little box, within the centre of midfield, essentially. And once he gets out of that sort of comfort zone, then it's there are sort of a bit of a white knuckle ride, really. I think so. But I liked February when he came on, but he gave us a bit more sort of. I know people get bored of me talking about TC bringing the ball forward, but I think that's what he's brought Febs in to do, and I thought he did that really well in spats. So, but yeah, no, I mean we
Plus
we
that
need to.
sensational dive on the goal. That is.
Well,
Honestly,
as you say, sort of
fantastic.
elastic man. That was triple Salco and double Lutz or whatever you know.
He's trying to limbo. He's trying to limbo.
Absolutely, but you're right. I mean, I think in terms of, the whole squad needs upgrading, or all parts of the squad need upgrading. The midfield, particularly. I mean, Connor came on and did Connor things.
It was okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he shored it up. But we're crying out for sort of
game save and tackle as well in that second half. I didn't realize it was him that actually comes across and knocks it away. I think it's with his knee.
Yeah. It was exactly so, but we've talked about the lack of creativity. We saw it for two or three games from Connor and Cody, his namesake, and that sort of line of productivity has been sort of taken away now. It's been nullified quite quickly. So we really do need, we need a player to pass that, spread that killer ball. We talked about Luke Berry of 5 years ago. Well, we got Luke Berry of 2026, and unfortunately, Luke can't do that. But we need a sort of Luke Berry type figure from sort of the late sort of 2010s, really, to sort of help us. But it does need a whole revamp, basically.
That is why if we need a cheap number 8, and I don't know what his contract is, and people are going to hate this because it's Luton, but I look at Jordan Clark at 32 now, whatever he is, but that guy can do one thing very, very well, and that is play that killer ball. And I look at a player like that, and I'm like, as long as you have someone with enough legs to play around, right, and you can play deeper with a bit of legs, I think it may actually work with a commentary. It might be again physically a little too weak, but a player like that, just someone who can play that ball, who can play multiple positions in that midfield three, so it's not so static all the time. That would be, I think, the sort of play if you have to do it on the sort of slightly cheaper. But if you're going to sign a player like that, you sure as hell better be spending some real money either in 10 or at 6, because we need them desperately to sort of create more down the sides. Paul, I'm going to give you the two youngsters, Miles and TC, both of whom I thought were pretty ineffective. Liban got called from one of the most remarkably ridiculous fouls I've ever seen in the first half. Came off at half time. TC came on. The one thing I will give TC is he made them take a step back, and actually they stopped creating a heck of a lot down that side. But unfortunately, he also played a really pretty dreadful ball, which they created a chance off of in the second half as well. But I thought both of them were pretty ineffective, which was disappointing because I thought that was a game for TC with his pace.
Yeah, I was when TC made a bad pass, and then I was like, oh no. And then he did improve a bit afterwards, but at one point he took 3 players on, went round them all. I was like, come on then. And then it was just a pass through the middle, just like we didn't gain anything from that move.
Did he go back to Bell, wasn't it? He did all the stuff and then ended up going back to Bell and there was nowhere to go. That's midfield, really, though. There needs to be someone making an overlap there. Someone making a run, get into some space, surely.
Yeah, too many of our midfielders are just anonymous at times.
Static.
Yeah.
Static, isn't it?
Yeah. Hopefully Kerry can learn to be in the right place and learn to pass better. And if we can get a decent 8 behind him, then that could be a good midfield. But yeah, it's just I feel like everything TC does just gets wasted because people don't. My friend that is a Millwall fan, he said he was your best player against us.
Friend.
But no one actually ran up the pitch with him. So he takes everyone on and then looks around. There's no one And then
Oh,
he'll
there's the
end
one
up
for
losing.
Southampton. He puts that lovely ball into the box, and there's just no one stood in the middle there, and it's like
Yeah.
right on someone's head.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think sort the midfield out. We need to sort the strikers out as well, and then you'll have. Then
If we buy a
hopefully
new
we'll have,
goalkeeper, 3 centre backs, 2 wing backs, 3 midfielders, and 2 forwards, we should be sorted.
Yeah.
But there's just no patterns of play. What frustrates me about midfield, guys, is that there seems to be no patterns of play. I mean, we talk
Yeah,
about
nothing
hoofball,
at all.
obviously, bypassing midfield.
We're bypassing the guy over their heads.
That's by necessity, basically. And it's like, it's shocking. It's like, we can pass side to side and back, as Paul said. I mean, it's so frustrating, Paul, because I sit in the covered end and I was saying to TC, Kane, shoot, do something. And he just wobbles over sort of, across the edge of the box and then gives it back to someone. And it's like, oh, just to have a go, really. And it's just that general thing. But yeah, we're back to creativity again in midfield. There are no patterns of play. We've got no creativity, and we desperately need to address that next season, basically. So it's not just about the fact things are not easy on the eye. We just, we need to give people other teams, things to think about, really. And we're not doing that at the moment. We're pretty relatively one-dimensional, I'd say. So we need to,
Kieran, thank God this is almost over, and we get to talk about Lyndon Dykes, the goal scorer.
It's past my
and
bedtime.
It's all right. We've got to talk about Wrexham next. We've got to talk
about college.
About Paul's favourite club in a second. Just gets better and better. It's a really rough first one for
This
you.
has been so bad. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm here yawning away. I really do apologise for the energy
me watching
today.
the game yesterday. It's a really difficult one to come up with much, because it wasn't like there was something specifically we did that was so awful. It was just everything was 3 steps slow.
Yeah.
Right. And it wasn't the positioning was too bad, or someone made a horrible error, or it slipped through the goalkeeper's gloves, or any. It's like normal football things, and we just didn't show up. To be fair to Lyndon Dykes, I think again when we concede, he's the only player whose head goes straight up. He's the only player who looks like, right, let's get back to the centre circle and go. And he kind of gives you that. And he was playing off as scraps, but he still made that run, and it's a lovely touch, and it's a lovely finish, and he keeps himself onside. Why they were trying to play offside, God knows. But to me, I think that there's a player there that at the very least looks like he wanted to be out there last night. And I thought Connor did when he came on as well. But really, and Jaden, to be fair. But outside of that, it was just so flat. I mean, as I say, fair play to Lyndon for it's another 90 minutes. He's just sort of tanked his way through.
He works hard, and I think a lot of our players do work hard. We all looked tired last night. And as much as we were tired, I think this is a running theme. We don't create enough. We just don't look sharp when we have the ball. And it's... I don't know if it's a byproduct of just playing this hoofball, essentially. Just bypassing the midfield, but then there's no one in the midfield to actually do anything.
That's the problem, isn't it?
So it's like we do have to bypass them. That does look safest, but how much can TC do? Because he can't play it back into the midfield, so he does have to play it back. How much can Lyndon Dykes do when no one's playing it through to him?
To double
exactly.
So because we're going to get past the dock. Where's he going to go?
Exactly.
They just pay player off dock whenever we're attacking. It's so frustrating.
Yeah. Like, we're asking TC to take players out of the box. We're asking him to take people on. We're asking him to take people on. And we're expecting Harry Clark to do the same on the other wing. And we're expecting Lyndon Dykes to just be there. But you can't put in a lamppost without someone to install it. You can't get Lyndon Dykes into the box without someone to play him through. Unless we have any sort of creativity in our spine, in our midfield, then what do we do? Where do we go? Sonny Kerry looks creative. He's really quite fun to watch play, but that's the only spark of maybe if he gets it. Yeah, but he just won't play the pass. If Sonny Kerry had that creativity, was fun to watch, and could look for Lyndon or could look for Miles, then maybe Miles would have more goals this season. Maybe Lyndon Dykes wouldn't just be like a lamppost on the street. That was true.
Kerry would be at Coventry or Middlesbrough, though. Let's be honest with ourselves. There's
exactly,
a reason why players are at us right now.
Exactly, and And Charlton's not a bad club to play at, but at the moment we're just not. We're not looking attractive. We're not playing attractive football.
Can I just bring up a thing which was really important? Cause I was texting Emma earlier today, and one of the things I always mention when people talk about, we don't play attractive football. So, like, well, Luton Town, the year that in the end it was Edwards that took them up, were 8th under Jones, and they played some great stuff. But then you look at them with just about Bury in 2025, right? I'm pretty sure Clark was part of that squad as well. They had Adebayo up front. They had Carlton Morris up front. Didn't they have James? Did they have Justin on the wings? Or was that the season they were in League One? I can't remember exactly. They had 2 very good fullbacks, whoever it was. They had 2 holding defensive midfielders who could sort of protect. And then the back 3 at that point, Reece Burke was fit most of the time. Amari Bell was playing really. Amari Bell came in that January, actually. Their biggest problem actually was in goal, and they signed Kaminsky that January to deal with it. But we can play better football. And that's what he's trying to sort of say is that we will get there, but we need the players. If I had Adebayo and Carlton Morris up front, there's very little I couldn't do behind them. Exactly. It wouldn't mean they weren't going to create stuff because they're able to create sort of on their own. The problem we have at the moment is that Dykes can knock the ball down to someone and create something, but we just can't create anything. And as you guys say, we can't go backwards because if you pass the ball to Doherty, it's going back to Bell or it's going back to Ramsey, and then they push up, and it's just that midfield is what's going to kill us. I think at the moment all we're trying to do is scratch and claw. Right, we need to finish 7. We need to make sure no one finishes 7 points better off than we do. Right, if we make sure that the gap between us and Leicester, and the number of points we take is 7. The number of points they win is no more than it's not 7 more than us. We're going to be okay. And as I say, I think it was you, Paul, that texted me the stat, an unbelievable stat. The bottom 4 in the Championship this year have 2 wins. In 2026,
they're between each other.
Politically awful. Right? I know Sheffield Wednesday or whatever, but Oxford are dreadful. And they're all against each other. Oxford at Leicester, and wasn't it West and Leicester against West Brom, right? So it's the sort of thing where it's that gap is a big gap, but it just that was incredibly uninspiring. Let's have a quick chat because I think Matt H in the comments here earlier has probably summed the game up, and then we will talk about Paul's favourite club coming down on Saturday to the Valley. So I've got Evening All were dreadful last night, but somehow managed to get a point from Robert. It was absolutely dreadful. Chris saying, I don't buy the BS excuse from Nathan Jones about the issue before the game where the players had to walk a few feet to the ground either. We made that point. I think we all kind of agree with you. I'm pretty sure if Lloyd had been on the pitch, that goal had been prevented from Chris. And then we had the Norwich 1-0 from Tom. Try saying we need 9 points. I think it's 11. I think you probably want to get yourself to 52 just because Sheffield Wednesday. I would say Sheffield Wednesday are an aberration, but also the top 2 aren't as dominant as they usually are in the Championship, which means that there's extra points kind of sloshing around the middle. So you just want to make sure you're sort of above. Let me put it this way to people. We're 5 points off what Luton were relegated with on goal difference last year. So we're really not very far away from being mathematically in a really, really strong position. It just doesn't feel it after games like that. But Matt, I think, sums this up completely fully. It was lovely to meet you in person. Lovely guy. He says hi to Paul. But everything was awful last night. Travel to and from the Midlands was draining, and the performance was unacceptable. We're going to use that as the tagline for the podcast, and we're going to stop talking about West Brom now, and we're going to put the point in the bank.
Let's move on.
And never think about it ever again. Let's talk about Wrexham, Paul.
No.
So Davenport.
FC Hollywood. Good Lord.
20 points from the last 10 for Wrexham.
Yeah,
They spent God knows how much money. They've got Cahill Dunn on the bench. To put that into perspective, Cahill Dunn cost more than our transfer record fee, and he's started about 4 games for him since making the move over there. It's a really, really good Wrexham side. It's incredibly irritating. It's Parkinson that's leading them to that. But it's unfortunate. It's a very good squad. I won't tell you that I'm looking forward to Saturday because as much as I'd love to get one over them, but it's going to have to be a Nathan Jones 1-0 masterclass, I think, to get something on Saturday.
I've done a YouTube. It's not going to be there again, is it? Mark Goldbridge. Hopefully not.
No, I don't think
God help us. No, because I'm where
Got
I
your half
sit.
and half scarf. I've already ordered it for you, Paul. You go pick it up at the
Oh,
store.
thank you very much. Yeah, no, I love Wrexham. I heart Wrexham and all that. No, so where I sit in block B of the covered end, there's my row and the row in front. There's quite a few seats which aren't season tickets. So the last time that they came, they were full of tourists. So I don't know. I mean, obviously the Wrexham monolith, carries on, doesn't it? The behemoth, whatever the name is, whatever the term is rolling on relentlessly. I don't know whether, because it's obviously the second time they've been to see us, to visit us. So whether it's going to be as much of a buzz as it was last year, because it was a bit mad, wasn't it? But I think you're right. We're probably going to end up with covered end full of tourists, which is fine if they behave themselves and don't wear their arm and half scarves too vigorously. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Kieran, that's right. So they are a good team. I mean, Parky was unfortunate when he was with us, wasn't he? Arguably to get sacked. So he's done really well. Good luck to him. I like the owners. They're good people. So that's as far as my sympathy extends. They have got a good team. I really like sort of Josh Windus and some of the people they've and obviously Kiefer, whatever his name, Kiefer Moore. Hopefully one or two of them will trip over a twig or something and hurt themselves and be out on Saturday. But yeah, no, fair play. I mean, they built it. I wouldn't say they spent a lot of money, but it's not, silly money. They bought, I think, very, very well. They've not just sort of flashed the cash and said, "Oh, we'll do a Chelsea and get everyone in sight." They've actually really been strategic, I think, in how they've gone about it. Yeah, Keeler done. Yeah, I mean, we probably all would have wanted him to come to Charlton in the summer. But there you go, alas. He's taken the sort of the Yankee dollar, and yeah, good luck to the lad. Yeah, well, fair enough. That's fair enough. You'd rather go to North Wales, to each their own. But yeah, no, I mean, fair play. No, they have built well, and I think it's been a proper sort of from the ground up rebuild, because of course we all know Wrexham. They've had some real ownership problems of their own in the past. They were, almost gone out of business. Fans helped them out. So yeah, from that perspective, I've got a lot of respect, particularly for those who were there when they were shit, which is quite a lot of them actually, because it's quite a small ground, isn't it? So I think quite a lot of them were sort of there from the beginning. But yeah, I mean, it's we don't want to sound bitter and twisted. I often do, particularly where they're concerned. But fair play to them. I mean, they're in they're fifth now, I think, at the moment. They're looking really great, going great guns for is it? Yeah, going great guns for the playoffs though. Yeah, as we always say, good luck to them, but obviously only after Saturday, really. But yeah, the hype is still a bit irritating. But great. It's getting people into it that maybe wouldn't otherwise get into soccer, and hopefully as long as they stick around and it's not just a fad, then I think for the good of the game, then that's great. But yeah, it is a pain when you've got people guzzling their hot dogs and whatever, doing their Insta lives back to Minnesota or whatever. But there we are. It's harmless, isn't it? Really. I mean, the main thing is for us to get a point, at least a point. I'd love to think we could, as you say, shithouse a 1-0 win. We probably got a better chance to do it this season than we did last season. But with Cody not there, that's obviously going to be an issue. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, we'll give them a good game. When they grace us with their presence, and I'd like to think we could get at least a point. There you go.
I mean, Paul's going to be going in his Deadpool suit, so this is a Deadpool suit.
extra tight. Yeah, exactly. In all the right places. In the wrong places, even. Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I'll be a stadium band straight away.
I think you and I are going to be banned from this podcast, Paul.
Well, all I can say is I'm glad that TC didn't score 2 goals on last night, because obviously after my bet that I was streaked down the concourse, I saved everyone's sort of sensibilities, thankfully. So well done, TC, for that.
Admittedly, he did make a bet that was never going to happen. So yeah.
Well, there is that, of course. That's right. Yeah,
he hedged his bets.
Indeed.
Paul Bowen, I guess the question in terms of lineup with no Cody, and let's make the assumption there'll be no Lloyd after he came on. I mean, Kaminsky, Bell, Collins, Ramsey, Clark, Chambers, Coventry, I'd assume, Doc, Carey, Dykes, and then I guess who would you play? Would you just agree with any of those? And who would you play up front out of Miles, TC, and Kelman?
Yeah, I agree with that lineup, but someone to partner Dykes is the issue, because when Dykes and Lieberman play together, they don't look great, but are they getting the service? TC can actually come back and get the ball, but then again, sometimes he looks like he isn't having an effect on the game, and if no one's keeping up with him, then he's got no one to pass to. And Kelman just looks lost, and I think with Kelman, we need someone that's going to put the ball in the box for him, but he just doesn't. We don't have that in the squad. Maybe Nibs is the only player that's probably capable of doing it and has done it in the past in the league,
He's on
in League
crutches.
One with Reading. But
Well,
yeah,
he's
he's
on
not playing
crutches.
until the end of the season at the earliest. So it's a really hard decision for Nathan Jones to make, because whoever he picks is going to be the wrong decision if we don't win 2 or 3-0. So yeah, I think probably I'll put Lieberman in there because Wrexham like long ball football. So yeah, we'd probably the only way we'd be able to keep the goals from going in our own net is from having Lieberman to defend corners with and free kicks and stuff.
It's actually a good point. It's a good point, isn't it, to say, because if we don't have Lloyd in there, you need the height, really, don't you? I mean, Kieran, does that sort of? Would you have played Lieberman originally, or has that changed your mind?
I think I would play Lieberman, honestly. Like he's not bad enough to completely write him off, and like you said, even just from a physical perspective, we need the height. Like without Lloyd, I do worry about corners and stuff, and I think watching set pieces will be really hard on Saturday. I think watching the game will be quite hard on Saturday, but we'll all turn up anyway. I just think from a purely physical perspective, Lieberman, I think we need as physical of a side as we can get with Wrexham. Even if he can just get himself in the way of a few balls, then maybe we could do something. Play a bit of hoofball, see what happens, really. So yeah, I'd play Dykes and Lieberman again. But if it's not working, maybe bring on Kelman. I'm just not sure. Bring on TC though. Bring on TC against tired legs, and I think we could have something there.
Paul, what about yourself? Is it Lieberman, you think, or?
Yeah, I mean, obviously talk about Charlie as you have done. It's what's the phrase? Is it a conundrum wrapped up in an enigma, or vice versa, basically at the moment.
Yeah.
So sorry, put stick back in. Yeah, but I mean, one of my tropes. I can't read quite a few tropes on here, don't I? But is this big man doesn't work. But I think actually, if they can dovetail together, and they've shown they can do that, as long as they don't go to flick on the same ball, or to go onto the flick on that obviously is non-existent because they've both gone for the flicked on ball, if you see what I mean. Is what, because I think they're both pretty mobile guys actually, particularly Lyndon, and they can put themselves about, to use that good old-fashioned phrase, and Miles, particularly as time's gone on, as we know, he's become more physical. He's sort of learned the dark arts and whatever. So actually, yeah, I think I'd probably put both of them on, and then possibly have, as Kieran said, bring on TC or even bring on Charlie. And the thing with Charlie, I think, is that he needs to be fed balls in a certain way, sort of side on or whatever, so he can sort of run onto balls. And the way we play doesn't always lend itself to that, I think. So to some extent, he has been defeated, I guess, by sort of the system we play. But I still think there's very much a player in there. It's still early days. He spent a lot of money on him. I know Nathan will want to sort of cultivate that, as he will with Harvey when he comes back. But yeah, no, I'd agree with the guys. I'd probably start with the two big guys, and sort of wreak a bit of havoc. Because I don't think, I mean, they've got a
When was the last
defense.
time we wreaked havoc, Paul?
Well, that's the point, though. Sorry, but I think we do need to do that. We need to go sort of air wars with them, because I don't think their defence is necessarily has really been tested. I suppose I'd say, from what I've seen of them. So the Phyllis and Devotion guys will probably watch this and say, "What are you on about?" But it's I do think we need to test. We didn't test West Brom yesterday, for example. There's plenty of teams like we didn't test Pompey like we should have done.
Yeah.
the other night. So we just need to test them. And if it is hoofball, if it is a case of the two big guys getting themselves, involved, then so be it. I mean, I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think we really have been pretty, have we? That's another phrase you wouldn't use, or term you wouldn't use for our football. We just need to be functional. We just need to take it to them, front footed and all the rest of it, doing the basics right, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, we just need to present a threat, because I think last time around we sort of rescued the game with, I think we got us penalty, but I felt that they were probably the better team. We sort of shrunk a little bit, didn't we, last time with all the hype and bloody Goldbridge and all the rest of it. With respect, so I think hopefully
putting pressure on the
well, there was absolutely right. I mean, the mood was darkening by the minute in Block B. But we just need to present more of a challenge. I think that's the point. It won't be sophisticated. But we just need to take it to them. And I don't think, as I say, their defence has really been tested that much. So yeah, let's see. Let's give them a game. And I think
we should have gotten something in November, right? If Kanté could finish in a Conqueror and maybe amazing save off Luke Berry.
Yeah, absolutely. They certainly weren't. They weren't
pretend to be Diego Maradona inside his own box.
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously got sympathy for Anel. Anel's fitness was shot to bits. He's at Port Vale now, as you know, and he's injured already. So, but there we are. That didn't stop him, prevent him winning yesterday. So, but yeah, no, it's just as I say, I think we've got a better squad than we had this time last year. Even back in November, as you say. So yeah, I just want us to see, just present more of a challenge. I think is really we want to leave it all on the field, and what will be really.
Lovely. I love doing this podcast. I can't tell you how happy I am that this episode is ending, so we don't ever have to think about it ever again.
Yeah, this has been a slow one.
If you are still here,
it's been a grind.
If you are still here in the comments,
so
put one in. If you're still here, fair play to you. You
Absolutely.
are
It's been a little
warrior. This is talking about that game is
It's just bleak.
I could do an impromptu striptease actually, Callum, but that'll cheer him all up.
Please don't, Paul. Keep your clothes on.
No, sorry, they'll be dialing off if they haven't already. Sorry,
Paul, you really need to stop threatening to take your clothes off, mate.
I need to rein myself in, Dyke. Yeah, and yes, I'm getting too old and fuddy duddy. Really, I need to sort of keep it simple.
It's a bit worrying now.
It is a bit, isn't it? Sorry, yeah. So anyway, have you got homework to do? It's college work to do.
I actually don't. I did it before the podcast.
Yeah, I do. You're such a swot. Everything I wasn't. That's why I dropped out of uni. But anyway, that's
my homework.
No wonder ever in the comments.
Yeah, cheers.
Thank you for the voice of reason.
Right, I do like burying my soul. Anyway, sorry,
slightly off the rails. So we're going to do a very, very quick whip around score prediction,
and then say goodnight, everyone.
1-0
Nathan Jones masterclass. And I can come on here and just make fun of Wrexham if it happens for the first time, and I really want to do that. So 1-0 Nathan Jones masterclass. Paul B.
For me, my heart says 1-1 because I don't think we'll get more than a draw. But I think we'll lose 1 or 2-0. Let's go for 2-0.
Voice of reason. Kieran?
Wait. Sorry, I lost my headphones. Hi, guys. I reckon 3-0 to Charlton. Luke Berry hat-trick in the 80th minute. No. In all honesty, 1-0 to Charlton. Yeah, we'll go 1-0 to Charlton. Miles Leeburn to score.
And Paul?
Yeah, I'll go 1-0. I'd say Lyndon again to repeat his feat of yesterday.
Yeah, my 1-0, by the way, is a Tyrese Campbell 95th minute winner, just so I can make fun of people. Right. that is enough for this podcast for tonight. Thank you all for joining us. I know it's been a difficult one.
Sorry, guys.
It was an absolute slog of a game to be at. Thank you to Paul Bowen for your first show. Fantastic, considering the subject matter.
Oh, it's not normally like this, I promise.
It's not normally like this. It's often
honest.
No.
But we're not normally that bad. Always so bad that there's actually something to be angry about.
Yeah, when there's something to be angry about, then it's good. Then it gets really good. Emma starts swearing more than Danny Hilton ever could.
There we go. All right. Well, with that, we will see you all on Sunday to review our match against the Disney Yanks.
Good night.
Remember your half and half scarves on Saturday, everybody. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thanks all. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.